Your phone just got quieter. Not in sound, but in soul. One UI 8.5 isn't an update you notice, it's an update you feel. And if you've been waiting for software that finally respects your time, your attention, and your peace, your wait is over. Hey everyone! Welcome back to Smart Reviews. If you're here right now, you probably felt it, that subtle shift in your Galaxy device after the latest update landed. Maybe it was the way your notifications suddenly felt less like demands and more like suggestions. Maybe it was how your battery lasted just a little longer without you changing a single setting. Or maybe it was the quiet realization that you hadn't checked your phone in an hour, not because you forced yourself to, but because nothing was pulling you back in. That's not an accident, that's One UI 8.5. And today, we're not just listing features or reciting specs, we're diving into the quiet revolution happening beneath your fingertips. The one Samsung isn't shouting about, but is quietly changing how millions of people live with their technology every single day. Let's start where you actually live, your morning. Before One UI 8.5, waking up meant a barrage. Notifications flooding in, apps vying for your attention before your eyes were fully open. The lock screen felt like a bulletin board of obligations. Now, the lock screen breathes your wallpaper. The photo of your dog, your partner, that sunset you captured last summer, doesn't just sit behind system elements, it interacts with them. The clock shifts to avoid covering faces. Notification badges soften into gentle halos that don't compete with your memories. And the new dynamic weather animation? It's not a gimmick, it's a moment of awareness. Raindrops ripple across your screen if it's pouring outside. Sunlight warms the edges if it's clear. You can even set this as your alarm background, so the moment you open your eyes, you're greeted with a contextual preview of the world waiting for you. No app to open, no search to perform. Just a quiet, beautiful nudge toward your day. But the real magic isn't in what you see, it's in what you don't. Notifications used to feel like a fire hose, constant, chaotic, demanding. One UI 8.5 introduces contextual filtering that works entirely on device. It doesn't read your messages, it doesn't upload your habits, it simply learns what matters to you, based on your actual behavior. A calendar alert for your therapy session stays prominent. A package delivery reminder fades gracefully after the window closes. A fake security alert from a shopping app you installed months ago gets quietly folded into a promotions tab, never interrupting your focus. You don't configure this, you don't train a model, the system just understands. And when you do need to search for something, the results are no longer a graveyard of old emails and random notes. Intent-based search pulls together your next appointment, the contact info you've been texting, a recent invoice you downloaded, and turn-by-turn directions to a location. All in one unified view. No app switching, no scrolling through digital clutter, just what matters, served quietly. It feels less like using a search engine, and more like having a thoughtful assistant who knows what you actually need. The quick settings panel has been completely reimagined. Not as a static grid, but as a living dashboard you shape to match your life. Long press any toggle to resize it. Make your most used functions large, tactile, and instantly accessible. Shrink or hide the ones you rarely touch. And the brightness and volume sliders? You can now switch them from horizontal to vertical orientation. This is a game changer for one-handed ergonomics. On larger Ultra models, dragging a horizontal slider across the width of the screen with your thumb has always been awkward. The vertical sliders align perfectly with natural thumb movement, allowing you to adjust settings with a simple up-down motion that feels intuitive, precise, and completely frictionless. The entire panel now behaves less like a control board and more like a personalized command center that you've actively shaped to match your daily rhythm. Battery life has undergone a quiet transformation that feels almost like sorcery. It's not about bigger cells or faster charging, though 60W wired and 25W wireless are welcome upgrades. It's about intelligence. Adaptive Battery 3.0 doesn't just monitor usage, it learns your rhythm. It notices that you charge overnight, so it slows the final 10% to reduce long-term wear. It sees that you use maps heavily on weekends, so it pre-caches offline routes to save power. It identifies an app that's waking up the processor every few minutes for no clear reason and offers to put it into deep sleep. You accept. Your standby drain, which averaged 8 to 10% overnight, drops to 3 to 4%. You're not just getting more hours, you're getting peace of mind. The anxiety of checking your battery at 3 p.m. and seeing 22%, it just fades away. The phone is no longer a source of low-grade stress. It's a reliable partner that plans ahead so you don't have to. Privacy, which for so long has been treated as an optional extra or a premium upsell, is finally baked into the foundation. The long-awaited native app lock is here. Not as a third-party workaround, but as a system-level feature you can enable with a single tap. Lock your banking app, your private messages, your photo, gallery, your health records, and they stay locked behind your biometrics without moving them into a separate sandbox that breaks your workflow. Permission controls have been rewritten with human clarity in mind. You can grant temporary access to your microphone or location, set it to expire after a single use, or allow background access only during specific hours. Every time an app tries to reach for your camera, your mic, or your precise coordinates, a subtle indicator appears in the status bar, and with one swipe you can revoke it permanently. There's no guesswork, no buried menus, just transparent control. And when you're in public, the new privacy screen feature uses subtle viewing angle optimization to darken sensitive content from side angles while keeping your direct view crystal clear. You can check your balance on the train, review a work document in a cafe, or read a private message without feeling exposed. It's not a physical filter that dulls your display. It's a software layer that respects your dignity in shared spaces. All of this runs locally. Nothing leaves your device unless you explicitly send it. Samsung isn't building a profile of you. They're building a vault for your life, for creators, educators, and everyday documenters. One UI 8.5 finally treats your phone as a legitimate creative workstation. Screen recording now supports real-time annotation. Draw on your display while recording, highlight specific areas, add handwritten notes, and export it all as a polished tutorial or meeting recap. Partial screen recording lets you capture only a selected portion of your screen, perfect for sharing a recipe, a map direction, or a banking confirmation without exposing your entire desktop to the internet. AI Photo Assist now understands natural language. Type, "Make the sky deeper," remove the power line, warm up the skin tones, and the system applies adjustments contextually, preserving the original mood instead of slapping on a generic filter. Every edit is non-destructive, with a full changelog, so you can step backward through your creative process without losing your starting point. Screenshot search has evolved from a basic file name matcher to a content-aware index. Type receipt, boarding pass, whiteboard, and the system finds exactly what you need, even if the file name is just IMG 4829. The gallery auto-organizes downloads into intuitive categories, not by scanning your files, but by observing where they came from and how you've interacted with similar items. Travel, events, receipts, locations, documents, all sorted locally, no cloud, no tracking, just instant access when you actually need it. The document scanner in the camera app now automatically detects edges, enhances contrast, removes shadows, and exports directly to searchable PDFs. In expert RAW mode, the virtual reflector simulates professional lighting bounce for portraits. Horizon lock keeps video level even when you're moving. Focus peaking is customizable for precision. It's not a feature dump, it's a toolkit designed for real people doing real work. Audio experience has received a quiet but transformative upgrade. The AI Audio Eraser, which previously only cleaned up your own recordings, now works on media playing within supported apps like YouTube, Spotify, and podcast players. Watching a concert video with overwhelming crowd noise, swipe to clean it up and isolate the performers. Listening to a field recording with wind interference? The system filters out the background while preserving vocal clarity. All processing happens on the neural chip, meaning no audio is uploaded, no data is stored, and your privacy remains completely intact. Voice interaction has matured from rigid command structures to natural, conversational flow. Improved noise-canceling algorithms isolate your voice, even in crowded environments, making voice-to-text, smart home control, and hands-free navigation genuinely reliable. The system learns your speech patterns and preferences over time, becoming increasingly personalized and anticipating your needs without ever feeling intrusive. Live captions work offline in dozens of languages, transcribing podcasts, videos, and voice notes in real time, with tap-to-translate functionality for anyone navigating multilingual conversations. It's not AI for show, it's AI for access, for clarity, for inclusion. The ecosystem experience, which has historically been Samsung's biggest challenge compared to Apple's tightly controlled garden, has finally been rebuilt on open, intelligent bridges. Universal Clipboard is no longer a rumor. Copy text on your Galaxy phone, and it appears instantly on your tablet, your Windows PC, or your Chromebook, without requiring a Samsung account, cloud sync, or manual pairing. It works over local Wi-Fi direct, encrypted, fast and completely invisible to your daily routine. Focus modes now sync across all connected devices. Enable work mode on your phone, and your watch automatically dims social notifications, your tablet closes entertainment apps, and your earbuds switch to voice-prioritized audio. Handoff is genuinely seamless. Start a call on your wrist, continue it on your phone as you walk out the door, and finish it on your laptop without dropping a single word. Drag-and-drop functionality works reliably between apps, allowing you to move text, images, and files with a single swipe. The system remembers your preferred app combinations and suggests them automatically when you enter split view. This reduces setup friction to almost nothing, letting you jump straight into your workflow instead of wrestling with interface limitations. File sharing no longer stops at Android. QR-based transfer protocols let you send photos, documents, and contacts to iOS devices securely, breaking down the artificial walls that have kept mixed household users frustrated for years. Your phone isn't trying to trap you in an ecosystem. It's trying to connect you to your actual life, whatever devices you choose to use. Now, let's talk about what's not in One UI 8.5, because sometimes the most powerful features are the ones that aren't there. No pop-ups begging you to try Galaxy AI Premium, no fake urgency disguised as system alerts, no home screen widgets pushing sponsored content, no permission prompts demanding access to enhance your experience, no generative photo filters that turn your memories into artificial art. Samsung didn't just remove clutter, they removed coercion. They assumed you own your data and built accordingly. This isn't minimalism for aesthetics. It's minimalism for sanity. In a world where every other OS treats your attentions as a commodity to be auctioned off to the highest bidder, Samsung has done something radical. They've given it back to you, not as a feature toggle, not as a premium subscription, but as a foundational promise woven into the very fabric of the experience. The rollout strategy reflects a mature, user-first philosophy. Updates are rolling out in careful phases, starting with the newest hardware to ensure stability, then expanding methodically to older devices with full transparency about compatibility and regional availability. Beta users transition to stable without data wipes, a simple fix that eliminates the anxiety of factory resets and saves countless hours. Security patches arrive on predictable schedules. Feature drops are integrated smoothly, not dumped in chaotic bundles that break familiar workflows. And the promise of extended software support isn't just a marketing line. It's a commitment to sustainability, to reducing e-waste, to treating your purchase as a long-term partnership instead of a disposable transaction. Your device will stay secure, stay fast, stay relevant. Not because Samsung wants to lock you into a cycle, but because they finally understand that the best software is the kind you don't have to replace. Of course, no major update arrives without friction, and the reality of living inside One UI 8.5 includes the expected growing pains. Some users experience notification delays for specific messaging applications until they manually adjust background optimization settings. A minor visual flicker appears occasionally with glass morphism blur effects on older displays. A driver-level quirk that patches resolve within weeks. The initial universal clipboard setup requires multiple devices to share the same network and account before the first successful sync, a handshake process that needs refinement. Third-party applications that heavily customize the system interface or rely on legacy accessibility services occasionally stumble during the transition, requiring developer updates to align with new APIs. But these aren't systemic failures. They're the natural friction of evolution, and what separates this era from previous ones isn't the absence of bugs. It's the maturity of the response cycle. Patch notes are detailed, not vague. Update rollouts are staggered responsibly, not dumped globally on unpredictable schedules. Community feedback is actively incorporated into stable builds. You don't feel like an afterthought, you feel like a participant in a continuous improvement loop. And that changes everything, because software isn't a product you buy and forget, it's a living system that evolves with you. One UI 8.5 understands that. It doesn't pretend to be perfect on day one. It commits to getting better over time, but beyond the features, the patches, and the performance metrics, what's truly shifted is the psychological relationship between user and device. Digital fatigue isn't caused by screens. It's caused by context switching, by fake urgency, by interfaces that treat your attention as a commodity to be mined. One UI 8.5 systematically removes that friction. You spend less time hunting for files, less time silencing phantom alerts, less time wondering why your battery is dead by mid-afternoon, less time configuring settings, less time feeling watched. You spend more time actually living. Your screen time drops, not because you installed a digital well-being app or set aggressive limits, but because the phone no longer demands your engagement. It offers it, quietly, contextually, and only when it's actually useful. When you're reading a long article, it doesn't push notifications. When you're in a meeting, it doesn't vibrate with low-priority updates. When you're offline, it doesn't waste battery trying to sync with unreachable servers. It just waits. And in that waiting, there's a profound kind of respect. It's not trying to monetize your attention, it's trying to protect it. And that's a radical act in an industry built on extraction. So if you're holding your Galaxy device right now, feeling that quiet shift in your daily routine, that subtle recalibration of how you move through the world, know this: you're not just using an operating system. You're living inside a philosophy, one that believes your time is sacred, your privacy is non-negotiable, your attention is yours alone. And sometimes, the most revolutionary thing a device can do is simply let you be. It doesn't shout about intelligence, it demonstrates it through restraint. It doesn't track you to help you, it helps by respecting you. It doesn't sell your moments, it protects them. And in a world that profits from your endless scrolling, that quiet confidence isn't just refreshing, it's necessary. Thanks for walking through this journey with me. If this resonated with you, if you've felt that same quiet shift in your own daily routine, please hit subscribe and tap the bell. We'll be here, tracking the long-term evolution of One UI 8.5, testing battery endurance over months, comparing camera consistency across updates, exploring how the ecosystem sync holds up as more devices join the fold, and sharing honest, grounded insights that help you make the most of your technology without the hype. We're not here for headlines, we're here for humanity. For the real-world experiences that remind us why we fell in love with tech in the first place. Until next time, may your updates be smooth, your bugs be temporary, your battery be predictable, and your digital life feel a little lighter, a little calmer, and entirely your own. Take care, friends.